Hi guys, Josh here. Welcome to Frames Per Second. Today I forgot to record an intro, so we're shooting some 120 spooled motion picture film, which is basically shooting IMAX, but we're doing it for photography. So this I got from B2 Darkroom, and we're just gonna see how it looks. Okay, so we're shooting Kodak Vision 3 250D, which is a motion picture film stock, still has a remjet layer on, and we got this developed in ECN2 by the wonderful guys at B2 Darkroom and B2 Scan. I am basically shooting IMAX photos because this is basically IMAX film that has been cut down on the sides, as you can see, and so yeah, there is some sprockets there, but yeah. This color is great, and it's a little bit flatter right off the scan, but that's kind of how motion picture was designed. Because you're meant to adjust it to match shots and also apply a grade later, even if you're doing it photochemically back in the day before computers. And so it does start with a flatter profile, as you can see here, and it's kind of like that so that you can adjust it, can enhance it, and really make it sing. And given that we developed an ECN2 as well, there's less color shift, and it is also a bit flatter because of that, rather than doing it in C41. And so yeah, these shots turn out great, and it's definitely something I want to do more of. But the one thing I will say is there is something up with the development, and you can kind of see these kind of weird streaks near the sprocket holes, and especially in these shots. And so I'm not sure if it's just developing or if the film itself had some, I guess you would call it piping maybe. But yeah, that's like the main issue with this, which I haven't seen that problem with the 35mm version of this film I've gotten developed. And so it could just be a 120 thing, or it could just be this roll, and maybe it didn't happen with other rolls, but we'll see in the future. But yeah, we were kind of shooting at golden hour, and we found some decent locations. Now this is more just us walking around the suburbs, seeing what's around, and we found this abandoned car at this kind of building. And yeah, I really like how this shot turned out, and I think the colors I was able to bring out of the film when adjusting in post was quite nice. So I think I could have made it look even more golden hour-y if I really wanted to, but I decided not to make the adjustments too drastic, even though I definitely could have. But yeah, I think the film was great. The grain is extremely fine, and I believe you do get finer grain from it done in ECN2, though feel free to tell me I'm wrong in the comments, because maybe I am. But yeah, the grain is fantastic. The colors that you can get out of it are pretty good, and it is a nice kind of flatter profile to kind of start off and really make it your own. This shot's a little bit crooked, but yeah, I think we made it look good. And yeah, there's a decent amount of detail, and yeah, the dynamic range is amazing. It's definitely got a lot of latitude. And it has here, you can see the detail of the shadows and the highlights. Like the sky is always blue, and sometimes when you're shooting stuff with very little latitude, it's pretty white. And there's still a decent amount of detail if you zoom all the way in. But yeah, I really like how things kind of turned out. And it did kind of take a bit of the punch of the golden hour out of it, a little bit, but it's definitely something you can add in if you really desire to. But I didn't make the adjustments too crazy, and this location was just great. I think the house might actually be abandoned, because we did kind of walk around the front yard and there was nobody there. And yeah, the swimming pool is just dirty water, as you might see in some upcoming footage. But yeah, I loved the house, little like red and white trimming. I thought the little details of this place looked quite great. And yeah, it's basically shooting IMAX. Depends on which camera you're shooting, but yeah, this is a bit bigger than 65mm because I'm shooting my Mamiya 645. And the 645 lenses you can actually use on the Arri Alexa 65s, which are meant to be mimicking that large format look. But really, this negative is pretty close to how IMAX is, because with those IMAX cameras, you do turn it onto the side, and so that it is like including the audio strip 70mm. And there are some cameras that you can get 70mm backs for and actually shoot IMAX proper with the full sprockets rather than the cut ones. But yeah, it's pretty cool we have a place in Australia that is taking the 70mm film and cutting it down so that we can use it for photos, and I think that's pretty awesome. And there are some places in the States that do this too, so if you can't get a 70mm back, feel free to kind of hit these guys up, get the film off them, and get them to develop an ECN2 if you want to see how that looks as well. But yeah, I thought that the quality was pretty good, other than that weird piping near the sprockets. But other than that, I thought it did turn out great. Like, you might have to step back a little bit and shoot a tiny bit wider if you don't want the sprockets kind of cropping certain parts of it. But other than that, I thought it turned out pretty well, and these shots look pretty cool. The really flat profile, the latitude of it, really gives you a lot of play in post if you really want to play with it. Let me know your thoughts on the images of the film in the comments below. Feel free to like and subscribe, turn on those post notifications so you know when there's a new episode. Anyway, I'm Josh, this has been Frames Per Second. Just get out there, shoot some film.